All right, y'all, it's time to turn those notifications back on. It's ULG De La Ray,
ULGK,
and ULGJ, and welcome back to the group chat.
Yes. All right, so we're going to try something a little different this episode, and we're just going to give y'all a little download of, what's been on our minds this week, a little update about us. So I'll go first. So I was sitting at work the other day eating lunch. And the facilities people that go around and, like, clean up the little areas and the bathrooms and stuff, when they take the lunch away, they come out and clean the tables and everything. So I'm sitting at this table that is, like, it's a long table, but it's 3 tables, like, pushed together. So I'm on the end. She takes this Swiffer jet and she wraps it with, like, a cloth and wipes the tops of the tables, right? But if I'm sitting here at the motherfucking table with my food, my fresh order that I just picked up, why do you feel the need to brush that Swiffer jet right next to my arm, bitch? Like, I don't like that. And then I sat there and I said, am I getting old? Because back in the day, my people did not play about, like, people sweeping next to you while you're eating. And I was like, is that just like a normal thing, or am I getting old?
Like, I think they're just there trying to get the job done and definitely not thinking about cultural differences and not thinking about how things could come off as inconsiderate. Because in my apartment complex gym, I'll be on the treadmill and the people who come in to clean will literally wipe down the sides of the treadmill I'm walking on as I'm walking.
Oh my goodness.
So
The
I just think
invasion of privacy.
I could be letting out a fart right now. And here you are.
Like,
Well,
damn,
also-
bitch, am I in your way?
that's what I was gonna say. Is it one of those things where she was like, for her, she was just trying to get it done, and she's like, okay, let me
See,
get
like,
this table
okay.
real quick while there's one person versus 8. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's how I feel it was. So I'm not saying it because I didn't, like, look at her crazy or nothing. I literally gave her no reaction. But in my head, I was thinking, like, if I was my grandma or, like, one of my older aunties sitting right here, they would have had a fit. Number 2, I just hope people know that there is a difference between a white lie and just lying for no fucking reason. Because I'm tired of people telling lies for no reason. If you can't do something, you don't want to do something. You ain't got to come up with a story to go with it. Just tell somebody you're not available. That's good enough for me, honey.
And you know what? Over the weekend, we were watching Love on the Spectrum. And I was like, how much simpler would life be if we took on some of the characteristics of people who have autism? Because they don't be trying to make shit work. They don't be trying to make shit up in their head. If it's a no, it's a no. And they're going to be so direct and so honest. That's how we should be operating.
White lies are harmless. They don't hurt either party. They just get the job done. An unnecessary lie is a lie you did not have to tell to get the job done. You just did the shit to lie, and I don't like that.
Hey, what you got for us?
First things first, rest in peace to my dog Leo. That was my neighbor's dog that got killed by 2 dogs yesterday. I was completely devastated because the Ring camera at the house that I am in, the officer needed the footage, and like my uncle sent it to me because I didn't want to see him get killed, but my aunt was over here and she did. She's a G for real, but I didn't want to see it. And like today they put out his little empty cage on the curb with the trash, and it like ruined my day. It really pissed me off. But I'm even more sad because like it happened while like I was working from home, and I was like, I wish I would have heard something or just could have done something to save his little life or something. But he's gone. I'm sad. It's gonna take some getting used to like not pulling up and seeing him outside because like I really liked him, and I was working on getting him to know me. So that sucks. But on a lighter note, professional note, file your taxes. The deadline is approaching. That's really all I got to say. And let me see, any other personal updates? No, I'm still tired. I'm here, but allegedly I'm locked in, so I'm doing what I got to do. So that's all.
And on the topic of file your taxes, shout out to ULGK for getting ULGJ together, honey.
Yes, Lord.
Honey, let me tell you.
Listen, we're going to post a testimony shot later.
I'm dead. She finna get me together too. Hey.
Period.
Yes. I had to turn down a client because I was like, you're not going to get anything. Well, you're getting something back you don't owe, which is great, but it's not worth it to file with me. Especially because there's like resources, especially in the age group that they're in. Like AARP has some, and I'm like, just do that. So I will look out for you when I can. Because if it doesn't make sense to file with like a paid professional, I will let you know because I'm not gonna waste your time or your money.
And
You
see,
hear that, y'all? Bonafide.
God is gonna bless
Bonafide.
that because a
I
lot of
pray.
niggas wouldn't even care. Have you getting back $200 on your return, knowing good damn well you got to pay $299 for the service.
You see what I'm saying?
Crazy.
You see what I'm saying? Right.
Crazy. Niggas ain't shit. In my neck of the woods, I told you all about when I had some ultrasounds a few weeks ago. So my results came back and I knew I had fibroids. They figured that out when I was living in California. And that's why they told me to start taking, well, part of the reason they told me to start taking the birth control continuously was to prevent them from growing. So since I stopped taking birth control in 2023, the fibroids have gotten bigger and that is what's causing this breakthrough bleeding. So that sucks. I mean, it's good to know what the issue is and like that it's not something quote unquote more serious than fibroids. So hopefully this follow-up appointment with my hormone doctor will give us like an actual solution. However, if she wants to cut all that shit out, baby, take them ovaries, take them tubes, take that uterus, take all that shit. Cause fuck them kids.
Oh my God.
I have literally been asking for a hysterectomy since I got a period. The doctors have always told me, you're too young, you might change your mind, da da da. If I change my mind, that's on me. If I decide 10 years from now, like, fuck, I really want kids, I shouldn't have done that, that's on me. And if I do want kids, there's plenty of motherfuckers out here to adopt. Plenty.
There is. And they need to be adopted.
Exactly. It's like that commercial, too many kitties in the city, too many strays in the alleyways. Y'all remember that commercial? They're on the street with nothing
Hell
to eat when they
no.
got nowhere to stay. What?
Honey,
This is an adoption commercial?
Yes.
what was you watching?
It would just come on the TV, like it was just a regular commercial in Bowling
Not
Green.
this Happy Meal McJingles 2000 ass song. Like, why is it so happy?
Honey.
I cannot believe y'all never heard that. I used to sing that all the time. My mom would be like, please stop.
That
And it was
is
just
that
for
a local
cats.
commercial or was it national?
It was local.
Bowling Green had such funny like local commercials. I vividly remember like moving to Bowling Green for college and being like, they got the funkiest local commercials, but they were always stuck in my head. And I wish I could remember some of them. But my friend used to sing them all the time, and I'd be like, "Girl, you're a walking concert." Like I call her that because like she would just never stop singing the commercials. I was like, "Please."
It was so catchy. I don't know how we got there, but my next update in etiquette. Now, I don't know who teaches plane etiquette. I don't know if there's like an actual course in college. I think when we went to school, it probably wasn't, but like we also grew up in a generation that understood common sense. So we probably didn't need to be taught plane etiquette. However, these children, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, Gen Beta, whatever the fuck comes on down the line, some simple things to remember when you're going on a plane. A, take a fucking shower because we are in very close quarters. When I tell y'all this nigga that was in the middle seat, he was probably like 15, 16. Every time he moved his arms, a stench was so disgusting. It was so gross. And I think he got to the point where he started to smell himself also. He was doing a lot of fidgeting and it was like making it worse. With all of my chest, I wanted to just be like, stop moving, or go to the bathroom and wash your armpits out with some fucking soap and a paper towel. Anything other than what you're doing would be fine. It was so gross. And I was like, also, you're probably one of those kids because he was sitting on his phone watching another person stream themselves playing a video game, which I will never understand. So he's probably one of those kids who like doesn't go outside to touch grass anyway and just sits in his room and doesn't shower for days on end because he's watching people play video games on the internet. First, take a shower. B, for the men listening, I understand that y'all feel like everything that's wrong in your lives is a result of like women having basic civil liberties. But when it comes to me getting my luggage down from the overhead bin, don't sit there and let me struggle. Right. Like that's just being courteous. And then have the nerve to sit there and huff and puff because it's taken me a long time. Well, if you would do the fucking manly thing here and help a nigga out, we could both get off this plane quicker.
Amen.
Yeah, a lot of men just have a chip on their shoulder because of whatever experiences they have with a couple of women and they take it out on the rest of us. But, oh, I thought y'all didn't want, I thought y'all could do, it's like, no, that's what she said. I'm not her. I don't have any, any resistance about you pulling my bag down. Thankfully, when I flew to Arizona, a guy was like, he was really cute too. I should have got his number, but he was like, as soon as he saw me walk to my seat, he was like, "Want me to put that up for you?" I was like, "Absolutely." And then as soon as like we were deplaning, he was like, up," and I was like 2 rows in front of him. He was like, "Your bag?" I was like, "Thank you. Yes." Absolutely. I don't know if he was flirting or what, because y'all know I don't understand white people, but yeah, that was very nice.
Even if I was the chick who said, "Hey, I could do bad all by myself. I don't need help." Da, 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 da. I said that yesterday. Today, in this moment right here with my bag overhead, pull it down, please, without me having to ask. That's it.
We're all trying to get off this tuna can with wings. Get my bag. Damn, it's crowded on here. I want to get off.
Crazy as fuck. And then the last thing about plane etiquette, you all know how to exit a plane. One whole row goes out, and then on the opposite side, that whole row goes out. And you keep doing that until everyone's off. I fucking hate that. And last week, I was like, "Can I go?" And the guy was like, "Oh, yeah, sure, sorry."
That's my favorite. I love
Girl,
like when little things can make people feel stupid and like they get that bit of self-actualization and be like, "Oh shit, that was rude of me." Yeah, it was. Move.
I try not to say too much because I know my face say it all. I be looking at people crazy. Like, I'm just my black ass must be see-through, huh? I'm sorry. The fuck?
You. And my last update for Gino Oriema, anybody who looks like him. West Conrad and anybody who looks like him. Amanda Batula and anybody who looks like her. And for those of you who don't know those people, that's 2 white men and a white woman. Anybody who looks like them. What y'all are going to learn to do in 2026 is respect Black women. And if you can't do that, this is the year in which we are going to show you how to do it. And we're going to drag your ass as we do it. Y'all keep playing around
Mm-hmm.
if you want.
And that's that on that.
Period.
I will say I heard the rumors that Rihanna was trying to hook somebody up with Michael B. Jordan, and I don't know why she would do that to me as like her doppelganger, you know? That seems
Yeah.
kind of crazy. But I'm gonna let it slide. I'm
Let
gonna
it
let it
slide.
happen because
Sierra deserves it.
he needs a season before me, you know? I need a season before him. It's getting to a point with these white people shows to where I hope the Black people start to realize when all you do is swim in milk, like, you never gonna get to know chocolate. So, like, all these problems that you're having is go keep being white people being the culprit because it's all you're surrounding yourself with, you know? I think I remember what I meant by these things on my list. I've honestly been listening to a lot of other podcasts because I'm not really a podcast type of person, but they actually helped me get through my workday a lot faster. And I don't know why, but I literally was just so motivated when I came home one day. And I just told myself, like, I'm really about to step up to the plate for myself, you know? Because I feel like a lot of times we get swept up in like, "Oh, I'm trying to be a role model for this person," or "I'm trying to be here for that person," or what may have you. But, like, at the end of the day, we only get to live this life once for ourselves. So, I just feel like the true key to going to the next step of life is literally doing things for yourself.
That's a lover girl therapy note right there. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
And then this other one, there's a book about people pleasing that I need to read, but I'm catching myself when I'm starting to do it. And I just want people to realize that when I start telling people no, it's for business. I have a business. So when people ask me to do things and then fall on their end and make me look bad because I brought you to the table, my whole brand is built off of my reputation, me being professional, me doing stuff when I need to get it done, me and showing up and getting the job done. So when I start getting more strict about stuff, hopefully people realize it's because it's about business. It's nothing personal. All right. So we're going down Lover's Lane, talking about living with people, and whew, it is a big feat. And I think the next time I ever do that, I will definitely need a ring on my finger.
And I would completely agree. Caleb, before I ask the next question, what do you think about that?
Great. I never wanted to, even though I
Mm.
have. And then with that person in particular, I had kind of predicted things that would happen like a year before, and then went back and was like cleaning out text messages and stuff after I moved out, and I was like, oh, this is why I said like everything that I thought was gonna happen did. So, fully agree. Never wanted to. Don't do it.
Do you feel like, though, there could be an instance in which it's situational based on the partner? Or you're saying, like Miranda, unless there's a ring on your finger, we're not going back down that road?
Yes and no, but, like, without a ring, what is the incentive, like, to just keep trying? Because if not, like, if you don't have, like, a true commitment at either point at any point, either of you could just kinda walk away, which I'm not saying that's good or bad, but it's like if you are mature and relationship ready and you both wanna be in partnership, then commit. Yeah, but I mean, that's what I want. There are people who don't mind living with people and having the commitment without the ring because they think it's a contract. That's great. That's not I don't subscribe to that.
Yeah, I'm more so on the, like, why would I live with another nigga if we're not getting married? What's the incentive? We're living together and sharing the chores. I don't need a roommate. That's why I live by myself, you know? So, unless you gonna take some responsibility and, like you said, commit to something, I don't really understand why I can't live in my space and you live in your space until there is some sort of commitment.
And, one of the greatest pieces of advice that I heard about this topic was don't turn roommate issues into relationship issues.
What does that mean?
So, like, one of the topics that we put on here was like expectations.
Mhm.
So, if my expectation is that you're always taking out the trash, no dishes in the sink at the end of the night, the dishwasher's loaded and running, you do the laundry, I'll take the cars to go get their maintenance, like whatever the agreement is as it pertains to living with each other, don't allow that to negatively impact your thought about the relationship. So, is it like, are they not holding up to their relationship expectations? Or are they not holding up to the living arrangement expectations?
Hmm.
And don't confuse the two because people often can think you're not doing what I asked you to do in terms of the house stuff and the stuff that we agreed upon. And so my relationship is shit. Do you agree with
Okay.
that though?
I think it's a good explanation, but still sitting with it.
Mm.
Because, I mean, a part of me is like, if you're asking somebody to do something as it relates to the household, as it benefits both of you all, and they're not doing it consistently, um, to me, then that kind of is a partner issue because it's like, are you listening? Are you being respectful? Are we balancing things out? I understand, like, I mean, relationships a whole different topic, but I mean, when you live with a person, it's like the relationship stuff kind of becomes less of a topic, but like you got to clean up every day. Like chores are every day. So that can kind of, I don't know, affect the relationship. So I understand the sentiment of trying to keep it separate, but like I don't want to be with anybody who doesn't clean up.
I understand what you're saying, but when you said it, I took it as if you're in a relationship, don't overcomplicate it by moving in with someone. Like you can be in a relationship with someone without moving in with them. So that's what I took from it when you said it the first time. Because when you said the explanation, it started to make me think about about people who move in as like a trial, like, if we're gonna be together, we gotta see if we can cohabitate and, like, mesh well. Because I also see that point of view. Because I mean, that's how I ended up in some of the situations I was in.
So, what are some things that you all would tell listeners to make sure that they do if they are planning on living with a partner?
They need to have a pre-meeting where this, like I said, business, not personal. We need to go through roles, who's doing what are my expectations, what are your pet peeves, what are my pet peeves. Because bruh, do we need a code word? Like when I say bubbles, I'm finna tell you, look, I can't deal with the socks on the floor. You need to know like who's paying what bill, what amount is getting paid, whose name is gonna be under, what's the what before you get in there. Cause you just can't sit there and assume or we're together, we'll figure it out or we'll split it down or I know he'll take care of me, he'll do the most and no, no, this is what's going down. This is how the rent gets paid. This is how the utilities get paid. In situations like this, you have to be like explicit. Say it out loud. Now, all you gotta do is do it once. It's not like you gotta keep doing this over and over. Just get to an understanding so everything can be smooth when y'all are living together. Because at that point, you set boundaries. If it does get to a point where someone keeps breaking your boundary, then you can figure out what you want to do.
And see, when you said this just has to happen once, like we don't have to do it regularly, another thing I would tell people to do is have a weekly, and if not weekly, no later then monthly financial meetings. Where are we? Like, let's open up all the accounts, make sure everything is up to date.
But are you saying that as living or marriage? Because I feel like I'm not doing all that if I'm not married.
And see, I feel like though, if you're living together, you still need to. Because like you said, can't that impact you negatively if accounts are
Negative.
Yeah.
negative? Thank you. If it is in the negative.
I think, um, ultimately, you have to try to vet a person as much as you can. And like, I don't want to say unfortunately, but I mean, that kind of is the right word. Like, you still have to be flexible unless you say upfront, like, hey, if something happens and you can't cover this or I can't cover this, then I'm out. Because I don't really see, like, for example, if somebody got fired and it wasn't their fault, um, and like they fell on hard times, but like something is in their name and you're supposed to be a supportive partner and building a life with them, you just gonna leave them hanging, you know what I mean? So,
No.
yeah. So I think there's so many nuances to where that I don't have like, this is what you should do, this is what you shouldn't do.
I feel like there also needs to be a conversation about what's the intention for us living together. Because as y'all said, if we're not working towards a marriage, you just want us to live together and be common law husband and wife. Like, is that your goal, or are we simply just dating and living together? Like, what is the end goal? So one person isn't thinking, oh, my partner asked me to move in, so this must mean no. We need to have those conversations, and we need to be direct about
Yeah.
what we're looking for. And then once someone tells you what they're looking for, as Kayla always says, don't try to change the nature of that person. Just let it go.
Mhm.
Because there are some homosexuals out there for sure. They looking for a place to stay. They're looking for a roommate.
You call them hobosexuals?
That's what they call homosexuals.
It's funny.
They only get with people because they need somewhere to stay.
Oh, that's sad. That's not funny.
It's not, but it
Damn,
happens.
They do it.
that's crazy. Do you all feel like if you're living with your partner, it should be 50-50?
I think it just depends.
Same.
If I'm thinking of my younger self or someone who's thinking about moving in with someone for the first time, I think it just depends on the dynamic. Because like if we're talking people who are just moving in because that's the easier thing to do, or they want a roommate, definitely need to start at 50-50. That's the baseline. But if it's a relationship, like that could go so many different ways. You don't know people's job situation. The woman might make more money than the man, and I think it just depends on what you agree to. I just think it should be a clear agreement, not an assumption.
Yeah. Same thing. Like, I've always just been of the mindset of like, when it comes to a relationship, however it looks for the two people involved is what's important. Just having hard conversations and like whatever works for y'all, do that. Because I mean, 50-50, I know like a lot of times when we hear that, it's like financially off top, but I mean, it doesn't, it could be like labor too. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't
Yeah.
the best chef, but my ex was. So like he cooked almost every single day or like several times a week, but I cleaned more. So like that was our way of doing our part, like relying on our strengths. But I mean, like I said, you just gotta know who the person you're dealing with or get to know them as much as you can and just do what works for y'all and leave everybody else out of it. Cause, I kind of get irritated with like the constant discourse online about like, well, you should do this and you shouldn't do that. And da-da-da. Just do what works for y'all, you know? And if it doesn't work, that's when you need to go back to the table and like have another conversation and adapt and adjust. And if you can't get to, some kind of resolution, then that's probably a good sign you shouldn't be together.
Yes. If someone can't take the time to consider you and the things that you've asked for, because it's different if you haven't spoken up and said, like, hey, this bothers me, or hey, could you help me out here? And I can help you out here. If you can't even consider me after I brought it to your attention, then you're clearly not the person I should be living with.
There's that, and I also think it's important for like everybody to find ways to compromise, not on things that are a hard no, but I think if you're just gonna be like, okay, this is how I want everything, this is how I'm gonna do it, I don't necessarily think that person is fully ready for true partnership because it's like that does not work when you in space with one other person. And then if kids come into the picture, like there's so many things, like, your house probably won't be clean, all the time. Well, it's not because, kids are like little tornadoes. So like, I mean, there's certain things that like you just have to figure out, like, what can I compromise on or what can I like relax on? Because going into a relationship or even like living with somebody and being like super rigid, it's not gonna work. I
Oh,
don't see
yeah.
that happening.
Yeah, another piece of advice I would give people is to check your lease. In the event that one of you does need to dip out on the other one, what the terms are in order to break your lease or have to sign your lease over completely to the other person on the lease. All of that information definitely good to know ahead of time. Yeah. Which reminds me, I saw this lady who was saying that her and her partner treat their relationship as if they are renewing a lease every year. So, like, they're only guaranteed to stay together for 1 year. No matter what happens, they work through it for that year. And then at the end of their quote unquote lease term, they decide if they want to renew with each other or go their separate ways. What do y'all think about that?
I'm dead. Kinda like Jackie Christie and her wedding that she has every year.
I actually really like that because I mean, you do need to revisit how you feel in a relationship. But I think that's also like very considerate to do so that it's like, okay, if we still stick it out through this year and we're not like being cruel to each other, to get to that point, so that when we both leave this situation, if we choose to or not, we're not like leaving each other hanging and like we're set up for success, as realistically as we can be. So I like that.
Yeah, I did too. And then it's like if you know the conversation is coming regardless, whether it's going to be good or bad, and hopefully that like alleviates anxiety and pressure around the relationship and where it's headed and all that stuff.
Like, it kinda adds pressure, in my opinion. So, I don't
Oh,
really, because I feel like you should be doing that reevaluation a little bit more than just every year.
that's fair.
And I wouldn't promise to stay for a whole year if someone's obviously not, you know, it would bother me to be like, "Oh, I gotta wait until the end of the year for this." Like, no.
I have seen a lot of Black women talking about online though how they want to find a monogamous partner who lives in their own house. What do you all think about being in a marriage but living separately? Do you feel like that helps maintain independence, or do you feel like that creates like a layer of, I don't know.
I've s I've seen it done, but I'm not doing it. We can live in the same house in 2 different rooms. That's about the farthest I'm gonna push that, but that's just my preference. But I've seen it. My grandpa has a best friend that, um, doesn't live in the same house as his wife, but his wife still cooks him dinner every day. I'm like, "If it works for them, that's cool. I wouldn't want that."
Yeah, for me, quality time is my love language. So even like just in my past experiences, like whether we were on good or bad terms, I still saw them as a person and as a friend. So I still like wanted to be around them like after a certain period. So I wouldn't choose to do that. But also like I don't want to be like for safety reasons, but I mean there's that, but also like who's 2 mortgages while this buffoon is in office, who's finna do that? Like
Yeah.
nah, and
Plus
then
one on
you're like
that.
right, and then it's like if you choose to raise a kid, like 2 households, nah, nope.
No, you don't need that much fucking space for me. I don't see it happening. If you do, you need to sign them papers, papers. Yeah, because there's some problems going on.
Yeah, and I've just seen too many like healthy relationships, marriages like in my own family that have been modeled to where like I know it's fully possible. If you like the person that you're with and like y'all are friends, it should be fine. But if you can't stand to be in the house with that person, I don't think that's your person.
If you gotta go get away that damn bad, please do it and do it alone because I don't have the time.
I think I would. And that's to say, like, if I were to get engaged tomorrow and married within a year, but we're currently living in separate places, I wouldn't be pressed to, at the end of either person's lease, be like, oh, let's go find a place together, you know? But like, eventually, if it happens, I think it would be cool, maybe. I don't know. But if we're not living together until we get engaged, I don't know. I love my space. And I love my space like being curated, I guess is the word. Like, and I love things being exactly how I like them being. So like back to what you said, Kayla, about being like super rigid or not being able to compromise on things. I don't think that's where I'm at, but I think in my last relationship, I did more of that than I would have wanted to. I don't feel like I got
That's
like a lot back in return. So now I'm like, no, I want my space. And my
That's the
space will be
kicker.
my space. Yeah.
but that's why you find somebody that's meant for you.
Yeah. That's
Mm,
They'll let you curate the hell out the house, honey,
they'd be like, please fix this shit up.
yeah.
Yeah.
and Imma keep it clean for you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're gonna be spotless and curated in this hoe.
Yeah, because there are, like, men who appreciate, like, what a woman is able to do, like, making a house a home, and, like,
Mm.
fortunately, I got to experience that, so, I know that it's possible, but if a man was like, "Oh, no, you absolutely cannot rearrange the couch," or some who? Bye. Like, I would be the same way because 'cause I'm just like, it just needs to feel good because, at this point, I still work from home, so, like, my space, it doesn't just need to be somewhere where I lay my head, like, no, I've always been that way. I'm a Taurus. We are pleasure seekers, hedonists, so, like, when it comes to, like, our homes, that's one thing that we just don't play about, you know what I mean? Like, just curating that space, but also inviting somebody else in who appreciates it, because if you don't, yeah, nah,
Yeah, that's a good point.
No, literally. He gonna let you do that thing up, child. You ain't even gotta worry about that for real.
open the wallet, please.
Okay. Hmm.
JK for the male
Um,
listeners.
Right. Relax,
Except not
relax.
Ridley.
um, Zoe. Another thing I wanted to talk about was this sense of wanting to maintain your independency when you live with someone. Because it's like, yeah, we live together, but we're still two separate people. We still live two separate lives. We don't have to do the same thing at the same time every day. Like, it's cool. I've never, like, I'm just now getting into the gym. So I never really, like, went to the gym with my man like that for real. So I wouldn't expect for us to go to the gym together every day. But I do think it's very important to remember to maintain your own routines and, obviously incorporate the other person where it seems fit, but you still gotta have some sort of sense of yourself, even though you're living with someone else. Y'all aren't like mashing and forming into one big blob. It's two people in there. Because I feel like I too enjoy a quality time. And I feel like once you get to being around someone so much, it can kind of feel required sometimes. And I wouldn't want it to get to that point. I still want the other person to feel like they can go off and do what they want to do, hang out with their friends and vice versa. And you also should also have privacy. Just because you're living with a partner doesn't mean you don't deserve or have the right to privacy. Because some people also feel like it's like, "Oh, we live together, so I should just know everything or be able to, be involved with everything." That's not the case either. It's like, bruh, I don't know if it's the Scorpio in me or what, but I be needing my me time sometimes. Like, shit.
Agreed.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I also really enjoy my me time, but I will say too, I feel like in my last relationship, I became very much like, "Oh, what are we doing today?" And it's like if he wasn't doing something, we weren't doing something. And that was like not his fault at all. It was just like if it was me, most days I would just pick to chill at home, watch TV, in my plants, and call it a day.
Mhm.
But yes, so important to maintain like in your own friend groups too. Like just because you're dating, you guys can have your couple friends. You can be friends with his friends and vice versa. But like it doesn't need to just be like we only have friends that are our friends. He needs
Mhm.
boy time, you need girl time, she needs girl time, she needs girl time, so on and so forth. Now the privacy thing, that's interesting. I don't know. I don't know about that one.
Privacy as far because I don't want to say I struggle with this, but like I'm an open book. So if there is something that like my partner wanted to know and they asked me about it, I would tell them, I would explain. Obviously, like a lot of people don't necessarily like operate the same way, which I understand that. But like my thing is like
I'm just
privacy.
talking about like simple stuff. Like, you don't have to come into the bathroom if I'm using the toilet. Like,
Oh.
I can have time in the bathroom alone. Like, you don't have to be with me 24/7. If I'm in the bathroom, like, give me a moment. Like, different stuff like
Mhm.
that. It don't have to
Okay.
be so serious.
Yeah, I thought we was talking about like private information
I know,
or
that's
like
what I was
who
like,
they're
"Hold on, wait
talking
a
Oh,
minute."
to.
no, no,
Yeah, because
no.
I'm like, if you can't go to the bathroom without each other, like that's a
It's
That's what I'm
codependency.
saying.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm just thinking of what would I tell younger Miranda before she moved in with them niggas.
You was going to shit with niggas, Miranda.
No, no, no. That was just the first thing that came to my mind as an example to explain I wasn't meaning that serious.
Listen. The
I'm
only
crying.
thing that was allowed in the bathroom with me was my cat because cats don't care and cats will like literally claw their way into the bathroom, but like they also want to sit in front of you while you're using the bathroom or just like be in there with you because like if they can't lay eyes on you, they think you're in danger or like if you're like on the toilet, they'll sit in front of you because they feel like you're in a vulnerable position, so they feel like they have to guard you. But I'm like, okay, but when the maintenance man come over and knock, your ass is under the bed hiding. So like, what are you protecting me from? But you know,
Sound like it.
Venus just caught a stray.
Venus.
Venus and Kit would get along, actually. They would. Scared of shit and, just.
They probably like scoot up to each other like behind, like back to back until they're like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
now we're next to each other. I guess we'll just sit here.
Literally. You good? We see each other.
Mm-hmm. I'm dead. But yeah, most of that was just to say, like, don't lose yourself just because you're moving in with somebody. You still can have your own life and your own things.
Yeah, and I was gonna say just like a last tidbit for me, like I knew my last relationship wasn't it, but like there were elements that like worked really well. And like I can say like I didn't have my own life because I didn't want to be in that city. So I was just like was very much a homebody. But I was on the verge of like I mean, we were about to launch this and like me with like doing taxes and stuff like I was on the verge of that, but we never got to that while in a relationship so that it could like things that went bad could have like smoothed out and like I would have had more of like a life and stuff myself that like issues that were kicking up probably would have like subsided, but like we never got to that point, but I'm okay with that.
My special Lover Girls lesson of the week comes from Frankie Latto. I think that's how you say his name on TikTok. He said, "Stop giving the niggas the benefit of the doubt and doubt the benefit of the nigga." I hope that sits in your soul.
And
Let
that's
it marinate.
Nigalations 3:16.
When I say that
Thank
sat in
you.
my soul, like when Respucia got on that water slide,
Heavy,
that's what it did. Chunky.
deep down.
I don't know, Marseille. Come on. It weighed on me and I was like, you right. You have to doubt what's the point of the nigga?
Think about it.
See what I'm
Think,
saying?
think, think, think about it.
So now we are going to wrap things up with our reality check-in. First, I'm going to bring up, I don't know if y'all saw that lady who lives in Maryland. She had these Hispanic people. I think they were from Guatemala and El Salvador. I think maybe just Guatemala. But she had them working on her roof, and right when they was about to get done, she called ICE on them to get them arrested so she wouldn't have to pay them fees. And lo and behold, I seen that they arrested her ass. Also found out that Wendy's, the restaurant, they be donating to MAGA groups. So if you still getting 4 for 4, you might want to lay it low.
Can't have nothing.
Can't, literally can't. But we'll make a way.
We cooking burgers out on the grill, so
Hello, did y'all see Megan Thee Stallion had collapsed while she was doing her Moulin Rouge?
No.
This is why I said we got to do our self-care, self-love. You can't go out and be fabulous and slay on an empty stomach. You can't drink on an empty stomach. You can't perform Moulin Rouge without the supplements and the things you need for your body.
especially if you are no longer of high school or college age. Because let
Oof.
me tell you something.
Oh,
Back in the day, when it was leaving my apartment at 8 a.m. and not getting back to 11, yeah, I maybe stopped at Chick-fil-A on campus. Because my granny would call me
yeah.
like, have you eaten today? It'd be 2 o'clock. I'm like, you don't hear the wind outside. I'm walking. Like, I have things to do. Now, keep that thing on me. Who's finna pass out? Mm-mm.
Also, I didn't know Brandy came out with a memoir. She was in there talking about how her and Wanye from Boys to Men had a thing going on because she had opened up for one of their tours back in the day. But she was like 15 and he was like 22.
Yeah, his interview, those comments, like some men just gross me out. He was like, "Oh yeah, she was old enough to like hinting at sex," and I'm just like, "How? Like even after like all this time has passed, you still can't be like, yeah, times are different, and we lived a very different lifestyle."
Joking about fucking around with underage girls is so disgusting. Whether you're doing it and you think it's okay or you're joking about it, regardless, it's disgusting.
And then literally right before we got on here, I seen that, first of all, if you didn't know, Offset got shot. Something happened at a casino. He got shot. TJ was involved somehow. That's that on that. But right before we hopped on, I seen a post that said, Offset's getting sued by a casino for $100,000 for defaulting on his gambling credit line.
Mhm.
This nigga, when that Selena Powell girl had posted him and she was going on the podcast, she was like, that nigga owes money. He's got a gambling problem. She didn't lie. She did not lie. Bro, nigga knew.
What I saw, which was so funny to me, it was a tweet, but it was like Offset got shot, and instead of niggas offering thoughts and prayers, everybody's just talking about how much money he owes them, and I'm like, that's for real, like.
Yeah, because I feel like he deserved that wound.
Laugh because I'm just like, look, you can only play with people for so long, and then
Hello.
especially I cannot stand, and this is not just for niggas, this is for people in general, not even relationships, whatever. I cannot stand when people cannot wake up and realize how good they have it. Look at the benefit to his life that was Cardi B. Like, she made him more involved in with his other kids, like even his other baby mamas was like, oh yeah, we love Cardi because she makes him like be a dad. You know what I mean? She was paying off millions of dollars of debt that he had. I mean, he was like culturally relevant and not like the butt of the fucking jokes every other week. So I'm just like, I hate when people can't realize how good they have it. And I'm like, it's just pride and ego. There's something in the back of your mind that's just like, I deserve more. I deserve more. I deserve more. I deserve better. And I'm going to get it. I'm going to have it versus stepping back and being like, you know what? God, thank you. I mean, eventually I'll get to another phase or we'll reach another level. But right now, what I have, my life, my family, my wife, my kids, whatever it is, I'm good. Like, that to me is like, when I saw he got shot in his ass, I busted out laughing because I'm like, that's what you get. Like, just seeing the karma play out in real time is something that all women who have done so much for a man can really relate to. It's like, we love to see it. So, all right, that was a tangent.
Reaping what you sow. Reaping what you motherfucking sow. When that karma come back around, it's so sweet. Yeah. And then one last thing, my soror, Trick Daddy for the regional conference.
I was gonna say Trick Love the Case. That was my remix.
That is insane. When I first saw it, I thought it was AI. I just scrolled right past that. I was like, they just make up anything. And then I see Mel Mitch make her post. I said, we've got to be joking right now. Then I heard JT and PD Pablo was supposed to perform later on in the weekend.
You said JT, the city girl? Who?
Yeah.
So they was in Florida.
Yes. I was just so perplexed. And I also, like, they never gonna let us live this down.
Ever. Even if you don't know Trick Daddy's music, his name is Trick Daddy. He's not talking about fucking trick-or-treating. You know what I mean? So if he put the name Trick Daddy on the contract, at no point did that give anybody some pause. Like,
Yeah, it's giving the younger sorors were like, yeah, it's Florida. He's Miami, local, whatever, do that. And then the older sorors were like, I don't know who the hell it is, but okay. Like, they cut, not realizing that it's like, you got to think for everybody involved. Like, especially at a conference. This is not like a campus event. This is not a yard show. This is not an MP. You know what I'm saying?
AGP.
You see what I'm saying? Like, you have to think for
the audience.
That is blowing my mind. And it's like, we're AKA, so we know how sorors are, like older sorors. And
hello,
AKA aside, how dare you low-key be disrespectful to older Black women in attendance by inviting this prune? Like, why would you do that?
We're gonna get it together. It's not all of us. I promise you, it's just a handful. Well, this has been a lovely chat, you guys, and we're going to put y'all on DNZ. Until next time, bye.